bear with me on the comments because I can't see. I'm going to try and get it fired up on my laptop, on my phone. How's the audio? Got a really keen frost this morning, and that usually kills the internet in this area. So bear with me. Maybe, just maybe, I can get this to work. There we go. Let's try that. Don't want the adverts. Right, so there we go. Look, Virginia Governor, good morning. Hello, Andy and family from South Africa. Good man, well done. Thanks for joining us on this cold and frosty morning. Peter Swatman, hi, Andy and crew. Good morning, Peter. Again, thanks for joining. Mike Bazanski, good morning, Andy and Trevor. Trevor is the tractor, and Trevor's been out in the cold all night. Well, basically, he's out in the cold every night, but it was an especially cold night last night, and he's super frosty. This morning's live stream is brought to you from one corner of the workshop because many of the motorcycles that you're not allowed to see are just down there. So yeah, we'll try and keep those out of shot best we can. Those that know. Now, this morning we have a phenomenal pie for review. This is the Baker's Son mince and cheese. Now, we have already done the steak and cheese, and it scored incredibly highly. So I've got great hopes for this pie too. Baker's Son go on to say at the bottom, thick, rich gravy, slow-cooked Angus mince with real cheese, encased in a golden pastry. No added preservatives, MSG, or artificial flavors or colors. So, a real pie. We will find out shortly. Hopefully the laptop's going to come back to life shortly, and then I can resume normal practice. Let's see who else we've got here. We've got Daniel Beddle. Good morning, Daniel. Daniel says, hello, Andy. Thank you, Daniel. George Bonnie 90. Hello, everybody. Good morning, George. I think quite a few people are staying in bed this morning because it's freezing cold. I've even got my super thermos Holly mug to try and keep the coffee warm. So what's been going on this last week? Well, let me tell you. I went up to Auckland on Wednesday morning it was. I was going to go up Tuesday night, but didn't. Daniel, had to do some more repairs today. Cool. Send me some photos, Daniel. We can have a look at those. So yeah, went up Wednesday morning. So I was down at home for Monday and Tuesday. Busy doing admin work, actually, flat out doing that. I didn't quite get everything that I hoped, but I got most of it done. I kept getting interrupted by phone calls and stuff, which happens all the time. So Wednesday morning, got up to Auckland, still restarting, stupid laptop. And then was straight into the thick of it in the workshop in the afternoon. Thursday, much the same, to be honest, in the workshop doing stuff, collecting stuff, doing errands, and basically trying to get caught up. Sort of on schedule, workshop loading at the moment up at HQ. We're doing okay, although more and more jobs keep piling in. So we're quick. If things carry on the way they are, we're going to fall behind, but we'll do the best we can. Friday morning, I had a very important meeting with Land Transport. That seemed to go pretty well. I'm quite pleased with that. And then went down to see Jared and picked up many screws, or what I call tech screws, but they're not really called tech screws. But I used for the timber and stuff for the carport, and also the cupboard that we're building for the compressors outside under the carport. And of course the deck that we're building for Mrs. Mechanic as well, which has sort of stalled out in the last couple of weeks. Not really got around to doing any more on that at the moment. It's either been really wet, or it's been ridiculously cold, or I've been too busy. Unfortunately, the really nice days, I've just been too busy with work. So, you know, I've got to do my job. That's what it's all about. And then after that, I went to go and see Brandon at ISL Industrial. And Brandon, what was he getting me? He was sorting me out. He's managed to source me the air dryer from Atlas Copco. Got me a great price on that. And that's going to be used in conjunction with the air compressors to provide the shot blasting cabinet very nice, dry, clean air, which should help its efficiency enormously, or even more. And then it was a long drive. In fact, from then, I had a meeting at a motorcycle shop for a couple of hours on the way home. That went well, no problems there. And I got home about 7:15. So it wasn't too bad, actually. It wasn't too long a day. Still restarting. Geez, come on, laptop. Honestly, it's just ridiculous. Anyway, I can't really see too well. What's the picture like and the audio, please? If somebody could fire that through, that'd be great. We've got many, many more comments coming through, so bear with me. Connor K, morning Connor. 80,000, yes, that's right. We've got 80,000 subscribers on the YouTube channel now, which is just mind-blowing, to be honest. I mean, obviously, I'm hoping to get to 100,000 one day, get my little plaque from YouTube. That would be a big pat on the back for all of us, to be fair. Connor goes on to say, hey Andy, hello everyone. The Holly mug will keep your coffee hot longer than any other coffee cup. The reason is obvious. Yes, Connor, you are absolutely correct. Look at that. Very nice. A very good reason why Holly wouldn't be in the workshop today is it's far too cold and she would have to wear a jacket and all sorts of stuff. And that really wouldn't work, would it? Bluesman 8869. Hello, Andy. I'm curious if you have ever used a wheel bearing greaser on a quad. I'm thinking of trying to get one for a Polaris Sportsman or Suzuki King Quad. Now, wheel bearing greaser. You don't just mean a standard grease gun. I think what you mean is basically a device that impregnates the bearing and packs it with grease. I haven't ever used one of those, to be perfectly honest. If it's going to be used in a harsh environment, I'll often just flick the little rubber seal out and manually pack the bearing, give it a bit of extra grease. One thing I have noticed on ATVs, and whether it's down to cost-saving ventures or what, I just don't know, but there are some ATVs on the market now which don't have a proper seal on the back of the hub. They rely entirely on the seal which is integral to the bearing, which is really only intended as a dust seal. It's not there to keep water out and stuff. And to be perfectly honest, they don't work. The bearings failure, occurs much sooner, especially if the bike's used in like a wet, muddy environment or a highly dusty environment as well. So it's not really very good, and there's not even a machine surface on the back of the hub to accept a seal. So I don't really understand what the thinking behind that is. ATVs are supposed to be used in pretty rugged environments, and having a seal is pretty important. So yeah, it's not very good, is it, to be honest? Where do we get to? So sorry, Bluesman, I can't really comment too much on that. I've always packed the bearings manually. Daniel Bedell, I just did. I'll come to that shortly, Daniel. Thank you. Mike Adams, hello, Andy and crew. Good morning, Mike. From this really cold workshop, hence the scruffy jacket. This is the one that I often paint in. Look, see, I've got a black arm. And many of my Andy Mechanic shirts have got black arms now as well. Now then, UK Mechanic. Good evening from a very hot Cornwall, UK, 34 degrees C for the middle part of the day. That's pretty hot. That's a relatively hot day for New Zealand. We have got up to, I think, 41 degrees C in New Zealand is a record, which is ridiculous. You can't really work in that. Mike's Automotive Diagnostics. Good morning, Andy. Good morning, Mike. And welcome back to my workshop. Bluesman. Yes. Sorry, Bluesman. Yeah, I can't help you with that one. Mike Adams. Audio is coming in 100%. Video was in and out between 80 and 90, but improving as you go. Good. Often fine, because I live in a very rural area. The mast actually isn't too far away. It's on a big hill just over to my left, a lot higher up than the property. But on a really cold, frosty morning, the internet's not very good. Even though the receiver is line of sight to the mast, it's still pretty crap, in all honesty. It's just nothing I can really do about it. It's just the way it is. Now then, where do we get to? So thank you, Mike. Appreciate that. John Nuttall. Good morning, John. John says the picture focus is poor, not crisp, Andy. Oh, that's not so good. In fact, looking at the one on my phone, I think you're quite right. It's not great. There's not a lot I can do about it, and the laptop is still restarting. I think there's a problem. I'm maybe too cold for the laptop. I don't know. So we'll have to work off the phone today, which is the first time ever. Thanks, John. Richard Perry, hi Andy and crew. Hope all are well. GB, thank you very much. Appreciate that. I like the little flag. That's cool. Yes, we're all good here, Richard. Very, very busy. Not enough time to get everything done. It's a bit of a juggling act, really, trying to fit everything in. Next week, I've got basically motorcycle shop visits booked for Monday through Thursday. So quite a bit of driving involved with that because I'm staying at home every night. We're back. We had a reconnection there. That's not good. So yeah, just trying to save a bit of money here and there wherever I can, for my employer, which is important. If we all do that, it makes a big difference. And then Thursday night, I'm back up to Auckland, in Auckland for Friday, home Friday night. So that's my plan of attack for next week. And hopefully we can get these 700 kits finished finally and delivered up to HQ. Now, Richard Sheldon is in the workshop. Morning, Sheldon, as always. Good morning, Andy and crew. Nice frost here again. We had a good frost here this morning, tell you, and yesterday as well. HFTG, good evening. What does a TG stand for? That's bizarre. Skyline, it's been a long time since I've participated in a live stream. Looking good, mate. Guessing by your accent, you're Derbyshire-ish way. I'm from the exotic Stoke-on-Trent. Well, I know why you're sensing a bit of Derbyshire in there, because I was at college in Loughborough for 2 years, and it did dilute my Yorkshire accent a little bit. But I am from North Yorkshire. Well, I was actually born in Cumbria, and Mum whisked me back to North Yorkshire very, very quickly, because I was born prematurely by a few weeks, so I believe. But yeah, I've lived in Barcelona, in Spain as well, and I think that affected my accent a little bit. But yeah, when I speak to a true Yorkshireman, or Yorkshire woman for that matter, who has a very broad accent, my Yorkshire very quickly comes back, and often I catch myself, even at work now, somebody will say good morning, as I arrive in the morning, and I'll say, hey up, how's it doing? How's it going? That kind of stuff. And they're like, what? It's the kind of thing that they're not used to those kind of phrases. So the Yorkshire's still there, deep down. Right, so without further ado, let's get this pie on board. We need to get this heated up because it's bloody cold. It could take a while. If you've just joined us, we have got the Baker's Son mince and cheese. Now, we did do a steak and cheese version of this particular pie quite some time ago, and it did extremely well. This has, as they're very proud on the front, it's got Angus beef in there, and they go to say on the thick, rich gravy and slow-cooked Angus mince with real cheese. We like real cheese. Encased in a golden pastry. No added preservatives, MSG, or artificial flavours or colours. So, it should do quite well. I prefer the steak and cheese pies to the mince and cheese, but we've had some pretty good mince and cheese ones recently, to be perfectly honest. And this one comes in a very nice box. They're obviously very proud of what they produce. And we'll take a look at this in a bit more detail later on. But here we go, look. Unboxing the pie. Right, there we go. Quick structural check before we stick it in the pie warmer. There we go. I had a pie yesterday. It was a Bake Shack one. No, it was a Bake Shack one, I think, from memory. And it just bloody exploded in the pie warmer. The lid just completely came off. Most bizarre. Anyway, there we go. So this one looks pretty good. Structurally integral, which is excellent. So we'll head over to the pie warmer and get this thing warming up. Right, let's turn you around. Oh, that's a bad view, isn't it? I'll turn you around that way, and then you'll see something that we're going to talk about shortly. Boom. Big yellow thing. What's that, you ask? Right. Here we go. Very careful with the camera, because there's stuff in the workshop that you're not allowed to see. Otherwise, Andy gets into some very, very serious trouble. Okay, there we go, look. Dum, 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 dum. In the middle, and we'll give it the 23 minutes. We'll see how that goes. It's very cold today. It might take a bit longer, but we'll do the 23 minutes or so. It's about right, isn't it? Yeah, there we go. And yeah, I've not cleaned it yet. I know. In fact, the cupboard's getting pretty grubby in there now. Okay, it's always a mess in there. It really is. Oh, they're empty bottles of Gaviscon. Great for brake bleeding, by the way. oh, get the camera over this side. Right, whilst we're wandering around, look at this. Bloody laptop is still restarted. I mean, come on. What's going on there? It's been going 20 odd minutes now. So, you're all very keen to see the plasma cutter. Well, there's a plasma cutter box. Should we find out what's inside? I think we should. I've not been in yet. I don't know. I'll just take you off the tripod. There we go. Get rid of that. Right. So what have we got? It's made by Sigweld. So anybody's got any experience of using Sigweld welders and plasma cutters and stuff, please give me some feedback, because I've not had one before. This is the 45 amp. Don't worry about the 115 volt. It's not. It's 240 volt AC. Single phase. Boom, 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 boom. That probably relates to I don't know, the voltage of the actual gun. I have no idea. Never used one. Well, I've used one. It was years ago, and it wasn't mine, so I just picked it up and used it. So we've got 2T, 4T selection. Somebody will tell me what that means. There we go. Look. Okay, some nice pictures. This will tell us, right, so we've got, it needs to be connected to a 15 amp supply, which is one of those larger plugs, very important, same as all the air compressors, to be fair. Plug and play, suitable for use with any standard 15 amp power point, 240 volt, there we go, look, 50-60 hertz, 15 amp supply lead fitted to power source. Excellent, well that'll have to come off and I'll put one of those big ones on. Recommended, if you're going to use a generator, it's going to be minimum 9 kVA. Fully compliant to lots of stuff. 3-year limited warranty, as always. Output current 45 amps DC. Very good. Air compressor, right? Rated air compressor required. 12 CFM, important. And the big, well, I think most of my air compressors are at least that now, so that's cool. It's got an LCD screen on it, which is pretty cool. It's got a cut skill 60 amp plasma torch, and this is the amazing bit. Look at this. It'll do a clean cut up to 16 millimeters mild steel. That's really a clean cut 16 mil. That's phenomenal. Very, very cool with a 0.9 mil tip. We've got any more bits down there? Look, we recommend. Yep. Okay, right. Without further ado, let's get you in the big tripod, and then hopefully you can see what's going on. There we go. Look, we'll come back to the comments shortly. Maybe the laptop might have fixed itself by the time we've done this. Who knows? Ugh, right. Holy moly. This will be fun getting this out of here. Just another bit of the workshop space taken up. Right. Oh, I can win something. Great prizes. We'll have a look at that shortly. I've got to win something. Right. Cut skill 3545. We've got an abuse manual. There we go. Look. Maybe one day I'll read that. Right. Get rid of that. Don't need that anymore. And we've got a huge box of bits. What's in here? Can you see? Oh, you can see. That's good. Great camera work, Andy. Ah, there is. Oh, geez. There is the torch. Very good. It didn't say on the box how long the torch was, but it looks pretty good actually. It looks probably 3, maybe 4 meter lance on there, which is excellent. Need plenty of room. And I'll stick that over there. What else have we got? We've got our earth lead. Super job. Reasonable length. Is it any good, the clamp? Well, that feels all right. Nice and strong spring on it, which is important. Need a good earth, as we found out with a MIG. We've got, what's in here? Unboxing is always fun. New stuff. And I must admit, I would like to thank Jared at Forge, Trosco Industries, for sourcing this plasma cutter for me. He managed to, I think one of his mates must sell them, and he did a great deal on it for me. Very, very impressed. Right, what have we got in here? Some tools. There we go, look. And so I'll stick those down on the bench. And even an airline fitting, and it's the right one. It's the high flow airline fitting. Top guys, well done. I do have loads of spare ones now of those that I purchased recently. I'll get rid of that one. And what? You even get a carry strap? Really? Okay, fair enough. And of course, the machine itself with its extremely heavy duty cable. Ugh. Right, we'll get rid of that. There we go. One plasma cutter. Okay, there's the front. Can you see that okay on the camera? Hopefully you can. Yes, just about. So we've got obviously the variation of power. We've got the lance that goes in there, the ground that goes in there, and of course we've got the display. I can't plug it in and turn it on at the moment. It's got the wrong plug for my workshop. The rear, we've got looks like a little water separator in there, and of course the on-off switch. Fantastic. And one of the stipulations that I had, can you move it down a little bit? There we go. Look. Yeah, one of the criteria that I gave Jared is I wanted one with a metal case. I didn't want the all plastic type. And also this has, we hope, pre-arc. Now pre-arc, I'm told, is extremely useful or important now on plasma cutters because it helps it to create that initial arc to get going. It's not splattery and doesn't struggle to get going quite so quick. So we did check. The man at the shop said it's got pre-arc, even though there's nothing on the box to indicate that. You know, fingers crossed he's right. So there you go. We now have a new addition to the workshop. Very, very happy, and got it for a great price. So again, thank you, Jared. Really appreciate that. Right, what else can we have a look at? Okay, well, we got more paint because I actually ran out of paint last Sunday. We got just had enough to get all the plates painted up, which is good. There's about 110 of those all painted and good to go. Now that big yellow thing at the back, when I was at ISL Industrial having a chat with Brandon, he had a lot of warranty stuff that had come back in, that he keeps the stuff for me. This actually is brand new. There's nothing wrong with it other than the switch. If I just zoom you in a little bit, you see the switch there? Look, it's not, I have had it on. Could I plug it in? I could probably plug it in. Bear with me because you'll have a laugh doing this. How are we going to work this? I'm about to do it freehand. See if I can get to the plug. Dum dum dum. It's a bit of a laugh. It's extremely heavy. Right, where is the plug? There he is. So if we thread that through there. Wasn't really planning on firing it up, but we can do that. Plug it into there. Hopefully there's enough power in there for it. If not, I'm going to trip the circuit breaker. Okay. Are you ready to get blasted? Because you can see the switch there. Look, see it's lifted up. Somebody's been inside. It does work, but you've got to hold the button down. Jeez! There you go. And he sucked in the tissue. Give it one more go. You probably kill the volume. I might get a shock doing this. Who knows? Wow! Really noisy. Sorry, chaps. Right, we'll just unplug it for safety reasons. I'm not giving it a full check over yet, but basically that's the only reason why it came back, so I'm told. So there you go. We've got a free extractor fan for the workshop, which might get adapted to be the cooling fan for the air compressors in the cabinet. Who knows? Right. Very careful with the camera. Oh, God. Oh, I need a tripod. Jeez. Okay, sticky back of the tripod. Boom. Yes, I know. That toolbox is a mess. It always is. Right, turn you around now. It should be easier. Boom. Yes. Right. Okay. Keep you over this side. Stick you back down there. And let's try and get back to the comments. The laptop is just junk this morning. I'm really sorry, chaps. It makes it a lot harder with the comments, but we'll bumble through. Where do we get to? Ooh. By the way, Daniel Bedell, by the way, it's 4:42 p.m. here in the USA. Skyline. Being honest, your accent is so much better than ours. Classic. John Nuttall, what is flashing on the shelf behind you to the rear of the bike? Well, I'll show you, actually. We'll go and do that. Very carefully, turn you around again. Boom. Okay, I have to be super careful with the camera, honestly. You'll bear with me. This is one of the lights that we put outside. I got sent these by a viewer. I think it was somebody in China, actually, sent me this. And it's charged by the power of the sun, which is amazing. It's been outside for over a year, but I had to take it off because it was going on to basically what we were building on the deck. So it's just got put in the workshop. But what I have noticed is it's actually really, really useful, because I leave it on there, which was purely by accident. Leave it on there. And then on an evening time, when I come across, the last thing I do is go into the, I know I shouldn't do this, but I go into the distribution box and I turn off the main power switch, and that kills everything in the workshop, which is good because it's safe, which includes the lights. Then it gets dark, obviously, very dark in a workshop. And normally I use torchy. But now that thing fires up and it gives me just enough light to navigate my way through all the bikes and to get down to the exit, which is down here, look, on the side door. So I get to go out of there. But without a torch, man, it's like a minefield. You cannot find your way through. It's so full of motorcycles in here. It's just ridiculous. How's that pie doing? Is it looking good? Oh, yeah. Oh, it's nice and warm around here. So, what else did we get from Brandon? He gave me something else. Oh, you can't see it. It's right over there. Yeah, I can't show you. It's hidden. I can't get to it. It's buried because I left a lot of the bikes in the workshop today. Right, turn you around. 3, 2, 1. Boom. There we go. Okay, lots to talk about today, but I've got to try and keep it reasonably short because I've got to whiz off into Taupo and get a big paint stirrer. I've got to stir up the paint in that big 20-litre pail before I decant it into 4-litre cans, because it's an open once pail, really, and it's just too big. I mean, that paint will last me probably 6 months to a year at current levels of usage. So I think it's far better to put it into smaller tins, and then they stay sealed. There's no chance of the paint going off. And that 20-litre can of paint and 2 5-litre cans of thinners, because I still had some thinners left over from last time, was $825. Pretty expensive, but it's very good paint. It really, really, really is. And it's easy to apply. You know, I'm not a painter, to be honest. But you know, even I get a reasonably good finish with it. And now that we sandblast or shot blast the steel plates, it sticks, it adheres to the steel incredibly well. It's very good. It's actually, its main use is for spraying shipping containers. That's what it's for. Now then, where do we get to? Geez, my fingers are getting cold now. So there you go, John. That's what that flashing light is. Daniel, the pie looks to be a tad bit thin on about half of the bottom section of the pie. Ooh, I hope not. That could be a pie-tastrophe waiting to happen. Already had one of those yesterday. Teeth cringing. Wait and see, Daniel. Kev Straw, Monochrome Racing. Morning, guys, from a Yorkshire man on holiday in the Isle of Wight. Been very hot here for us Brits. 36 degrees C. Jeez. Skyline. Oh, Andy, I recently had a Frey Bentos steak and kidney pie in a tin. As a trans woman, I feel I shouldn't have enjoyed it as much as I did. Well, I'm not a great fan of those Frey Bentos pies, to be honest. I did try one again not too long ago, and I think Big Clive had one as well on camera. He did a video on one, and there's not a lot inside them anymore. They're not as good as they used to be. I remember as a kid we used to have them at home, and they were I mean, obviously they seemed a lot bigger when I was a child, but I don't know, didn't find it that satisfying. Machine NZ, morning Andy and crew. Good morning, sir. Welcome back to a very crowded, cramped little workshop today. Full of motorcycles. I haven't put them all outside because I'm going to flick out to Taupo as soon as the live stream's finished. I've got to pick up some supplies. And it's a bit too cold to spray at the moment, so we're going to spray this afternoon, get the last few bits sprayed up, and then Mrs. Mechanic can get all that stuff packed up during the week, because I'm back to Auckland on Friday. I can get them delivered, and it's all finished until we start again, of course. Now then, oh, hang on, no. Right. Skyline you did enjoy it. Well, maybe you got a good one. Maybe you got one. I mean, they just seem to have a lot more gravy and a lot less meat in them, unfortunately. The ones that I've had recently. Daniel Bedell, press and hold a power key for about 10 seconds or until it turns itself off. It's called a hard boot. So maybe I'm doing something wrong. But I want to take a look inside the switch anyway, because it's not quite set properly. And I also want to give it a quick test to make sure that there's no wiring issues. Brandon said that I think it failed the test and tag, where there's a leak to ground, isn't there, when you get that, I think. Daniel, did you make the pepperoni bagel melt yet? I didn't. I haven't yet. It's on the cards. I'll ask Mrs. Mechanic to get it sorted out. We will do that. It sounds extremely appetizing. I like that kind of stuff. Mike Adams. I know nothing. Oh, hang on. It's just jumped off. I know nothing about a cluttered workshop, as I play hopscotch and gymnastics to get around it, and spend 45 minutes looking for that one tool I know I have somewhere, lol. This morning I had to clamber over some of the bikes to get a can of brake cleaner so I could clean the score chart for the pies. That was immense fun. Nearly fell over. Daniel, Mrs. Mechanic, please make your hubby and yourself a pepperoni bagel melt. I'm sure you will love them. There you go. She does watch the live stream. She's in bed at the moment. It's freezing cold because it's very cold in the house at the moment. We plan to get double glazed windows in the next 12 months, hopefully, and that should make things a little bit better. But on cold mornings, it's a very, very cold house. Don't have central heating. All we have is a wood fire. Daniel, I know you watch these live streams. So that's why I'm addressing you directly. Good job, Daniel. Well done, mate. Madowix, it's about 5 degrees here. It got down to -3 here last night, which is pretty chilly, and the night before. Harry Darg, hi all. I'm tired today, didn't get much sleep. Live in a building full of women, and those high heels they wear I hear all night up and down the stairs. All I can say is you lucky chap. Madowix, a $5 Domino's pizza is better value than a bakery $5 pie. I think you're probably right. In some cases, you're probably right. You certainly get more volume of food and quite tasty. Domino's pizzas are pretty cheap, and they're actually pretty good. Peter Swatman, a little plug for Domino's pizzas there. Well done, chaps. Peter Swatman, I think he meant the laptop. Yes, the laptop is still restarting. I have no idea what's going on. I'm just going to turn it off, I think. Will it even turn off? It did turn off. Let's give it another go. So we can turn it back on again. Oh no, it didn't turn off. It just went blank on the screen. We'll try again. I don't know. Stupid laptop. Doesn't seem to like the cold, which is not very good today. No, it's not even doing as it's told there. We're going to turn off. Where do we get to? Sheldon, Daniel means hard boot on the laptop. Oh. All right then. We'll try that. Hold it 10 seconds. 3, 4, 5. Oh, it's flickering. 6, 7. Oh, it's gone off now. Right, we'll leave it a minute and I'll try and turn it back on again. Madowix, go to Dad's Pie Shop in Silverdale. We're in Auckland. You won't look back. Silverdale. I'm going to be in Silverdale next when I pick up the next load of laser cuttings. So that's when I'll call in for one of those Dad's Pies. Promise. I will. I'll do it. Jeffrey Boyle. We get one of those. We get a spanner and a motorcycle picture. Good job, Jeffrey. Well done for finding all those. JJ. Morning, Andy and crew. Good morning, JJ. Welcome back to the workshop, sir. It's bloody freezing today, hence why I've got the old jacket on. No Andy Mechanic shirt visible today. Madowix, do a live stream for Dad's Pie Shop. Ooh, that sounds good. A good idea, doesn't it? We should do that. Right. We've got the Windows 4 blocks. It might just resume, restart. I don't know what's going to happen. Ah, it's so cold that even the coffee in this super hot mug is starting to lose its temperature. Right, another cigarette, I think, and then hopefully the pie should be about ready. Come on, laptop, you can do it. Ooh. We've got Andy Mechanic, welcome. It's recognised my face. Oh, we're in. Right, bear with me. We're just going to try and get this fired up properly now. Middle of the live stream. Come on, laptop. Honestly, I even started it about 15 minutes before the live stream. Oh, it's doing stuff. I don't want to know what's new in Chrome. I just want YouTube. Thank you very much. Right. Bear with me, people. We're getting there. Things are starting to work. Thank you, Daniel, for that hard start. It must have just, I don't know. Right. Trevor the Tractor, picture.
Well, here we go. We're zooming in on
turn that down for a start. What's going on there? Right. There we are. Don't know how far into the live stream this one is, but anyway. Right. Comments. Maddox, it's about 7 degrees north of Auckland, but sun is coming out. I think it'll warm up pretty well here today, but it's still bloody cold at the moment. It stays cold in the workshop for quite a while because the benches are there's so much steel in the benches, they take a long time to warm up. So if you're working at the bench a lot, you get really cold hands. Daniel, glad the hard boot seems to be working for you. It did, Daniel. You see, I'm not an IT guy. So, Daniel sent me a message. Let's have a look at that now. I can shut that down. Don't need that one. Boom. There we are. Daniel Battle. 8 photos. Had to run new wire within a wall and sink. I hate that kind of stuff. I don't know how well you're able to see this. Daniel doesn't mind me sharing his photos. Get rid of the cigarette for a second. Bear with me. Right. I don't know how well you're going to see these at all, but we'll give it a go. There you go. Look. Is that better? There we are. So you had to dig your way in by the looks of it. Oh, there you go. That looks about as old as my hot water. In fact, no, actually, my hot water tank looks older than that one. It's vintage. It's very inefficient, I'm sure. And one of the really annoying things is when there's struggle for power in the grid, they shut your hot water tank down, which is even worse. Look at that. Tiny job, mate. Nice. Any more? Oh, one more, I think. See, look, any flat surface becomes a workbench. That's what happens all the time, isn't it? Good job. Are those batteries on there? Oh, no. Yeah, DeWalt tools. That's right. Yeah. There we are. So what was the wire for? Was that for the hot water tank by the looks of it? You put a new feed into that water tank. That looks all pretty... Oh, I don't know. Does it look new? Doesn't look new. I don't know. I'm sure you'll tell me. Right. Let's get rid of that. Boom. Get rid of those. Koreans. One of my students has just reacted to one of my photos on Facebook. Oh, yes, about the subscribers. Yes, so 80,000 subscribers. Who would have thought, honestly? Yeah, I need to do some more videos. I really do. Oh, there goes the pie. All right, 2 minutes. We won't leave it too long because it'll get cold. 2 minutes. Remind me in 2 minutes' time we're going to get the pie. But Daniel Bedell, as you can tell, I'm a bit of a multiple fields. Yes, I do a bit of my own wiring. Doesn't always work. Mike Adams, how do you plan on setting that fan up as a cooler for your compressor? Just turning it on when in use or connecting it to a thermostat just to keep the temp regulated? No, I'll probably just turn it on. I mean, there's going to be 3, possibly 4 air compressors if I can get the small one out of the shed on the same skid. Oh, that was a bit of an afterthought, but I might be able to do it. Not sure yet. They'll always, when Mr. Mechanic is sandblasting, they are running continuously. So I would just keep the fan up all the time. I mean, it's designed, I think, to be on all the time, continuous use. So I just turn it on. I might not use that one. I don't know yet. I've not really, it just happened to be given to me at the right time. If not, then I'll just buy a couple of surface mounted fans, but one on one side of the cabinet as the air in, and then one as the air out, and it'll just give nice fresh air flowing through. Obviously all the compressors have got their own fans anyway, so they'll then just grab the air and blow it across their own fins. That's the plan. Obviously it'd be advantageous to try and have the airflow all in one direction. I don't know if that's going to work or not yet. What I can't do is put a fan at the back of the cabinet, because that's basically a wall for the neighbour's garden. So the idea is to try and keep the volume down as well. Plus, you know, he might start watering his garden. It'll suck a lot of water in. We don't want that. So yes, work in progress, but we are getting there. Yesterday, me and Mrs. Mechanic finished all the cladding on this cabinet that we're building. I've just got the doors to make. And then hopefully the electrician's going to pop up and do all the wiring for us, give it the power feeds and things. And then I can make the skid, and then I can mount the compressors, and then they can all leave the workshop and go and live in a very safe, warm, toasty environment. You know, and I'll have more space in the workshop, and it'll be a bit quieter when we're working in here. That's the plan. Daniel, hot water heater relocating, and for the dryer lines. Dryer lines? Dryer lines. What are the dryer lines? Don't recognize that. I can build you a proper decent computer from scratch. The Surface actually is pretty good. It doesn't, I mean, it's very quick at startup. It doesn't usually cause any problems, but I just don't think it likes cold weather, or maybe poor internet, which we've clearly got at the moment because the picture's not great. At least it's not great on my laptop. Is the picture any good at your end? Again, just a quick check, because yeah, it's not perfect. Madowix, do you change the oil on your cars or put in the shop? Mrs. Mechanic has a little Suzuki Swift that she bought about 4 years ago now, and it only needs a service once a year. It doesn't do very many kilometers at all. She only pops down to the shops and stuff in it. Doesn't really rack up the Ks. Probably maybe 3,000 Ks a year. That's all it does. It goes in once a year for a warrant of fitness, and they give it an oil change at the same time. I haven't done it yet. Why? I'm just too busy, and it's just convenient for them to do it. And up until recently, it's been in warranty anyway. So it's just easier to get them to do it, and it doesn't cause any problems with the warranty and stuff. And it's not expensive. They don't charge a lot for it, which is good. I was surprised actually how cheap the servicing was. In all honesty, it's ridiculously cheap. It's too cheap, really. When you compare that to ATV and RRV servicing, man, it's just so cheap. Now then, Daniel, with both Wi-Fi and Bluetooth capabilities and HDMI outputs as well. Daniel's trying to sell me a new computer. I can see it happening now. Scott, it was so warm here in northwest England. It melted my wax oil so much. It was like hot water. Went on a treat. Perfect time to do wax oiling. Excellent, Scott. Daniel Bennell, Windows 11 Pro. Well, Daniel, it wasn't too long ago that I did buy a new laptop. Well, it's probably about 2 years ago now, but I bought a new laptop to do all my editing on, and I use that for everything. It's not this laptop. This is my old work laptop that I bought. I just used my Pico and for stuff in the workshop, and paid bugger all for it. I won't tell you what I paid for it, but I paid bugger all for it. And it for what I paid, it's brilliant. In reality, it's touchscreen and the lot. It's super. As regards the office, the home office for my editing, the laptop that I've got is actually really good. And I went for a laptop because then I can edit when I'm away from home, which made a massive difference to the number of videos that I could get out on the channel until recently, because I've not actually got any more in the can. Other than the bike trip, which I will get round to. I need to get that edited. If somebody knows a great editor that can edit up videos and is prepared to be paid pittance, please let me know, because then I will put all the rushes into a Google Drive and they can edit them, and I'll happily pay them to do it, because I really struggle for time. I really do. Daniel, dry line, meaning the 30 amp wire from the breaker panel box to the outlet for the dryer itself. Because it's now illegal to hardwire a dryer anymore, so it has to be corded. I think it's the same with cookers now in New Zealand. They used to be hardwired to the house. Now they have to be on a large plug and socket arrangement, which is good because we had ours changed over, about 8 years ago, I think it was. 10 years ago. We had it swapped across because the cooker had died and we needed a new cooker. And the guy's like, nah, we've got to do this now. So it's fine, no problem. So it's almost time to buy another new cooker because the one we've got it's not great. And I've promised Mrs. Mechanic a new one. And she's not chosen one yet. When she does, she'll get a new cooker. Simple as that. Mike Adams, might be time to grab your pie. Thank you, Mike. Sheldon, good point, Mike. Okay, pie time. How long have we got? 45 minutes in. Bloody hell. Okay, turn you around. 3, 2, 1. Boom. There we go. Back of the sandblasting cabinet. Oh, right. Let's go and get this pie. Dum 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 dum. I've done nothing with the bonnet yet. It just looks nice on the bench. Okay. Alan keeps reminding me. And I've been given another job from Alan as well, so we'll have a look at that in a minute. Okay, pie. Ooh, I don't know. The base looks all right. It's got a couple of little cracks in the middle. We'll take a closer look shortly. Tell you what, though, it has cooled down pretty quick. It's not hot. Oh, I saw some blue on the camera then. Jeez. So much trouble. Constantly in trouble. Right. Okay. Oh, man, look at the quality of my picture. That's just abysmal. Okay, there we go, look. I'll try and do it slowly so it doesn't upset YouTube too much. There we are. Dum 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 dum. Dum 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 dum. It's actually not bad. It looks like there's a bit of a crack. Yeah, there is. There's a bit of a crack just round there between the lid and the base. Underneath, some very minor cracking there, but it hasn't really. It's not soggy. And the lid looks nice, doesn't it? Okay, I'm not gonna rush this, but we're gonna crack on because it's gonna get cold otherwise. So here we go. Right, first bite. Let's just get the camera sorted out so we get everything in. There we are. Right, first bite. Here we go. Steam. I've got a runny nose. It's that cold here. Lots of pastry in that bite. Lots of pastry. Not really any meaty flavour at all. Okay. Oh, that's good. On a morning like this, that's good. Daniel Bedell, I'm not trying to sell you a PC built for your specifications, just saying that I have the capabilities and that I've actually had the experience of doing it. That's very cool, Daniel. It's a very different skill set altogether. My son Ben, he's studying computer science, I think it is, and coding and stuff. So part of that degree that he's doing is the building of PCs and stuff. So I suppose if I ever needed one building up, I would probably get him to do it because it would be cheap. And cheap as in labour cost, although he should be quite capable of doing the job very well. Who knows? But at the moment, I don't need one. I'm fine as I am. Don't want to spend any more money. That's good, but thanks for the advice, Daniel. Around the sides and the bottom, it's actually pretty good. It must have just been the crappy quality of the video today. Scott, would you change oil after 1 year if you only did 1,000 miles and use fully synthetic 1.6 twin cam diesel? I do. Am I right or crazy? No, I think you're right. I think an annual service is the minimum you should be doing on any vehicle, really, because moisture gets in the oil, especially a vehicle being stood so much as well. It doesn't really get a chance to get that moisture out of the oil very well. Yeah, I mean, for what it costs, which is negligible, I would certainly do it. Daniel, of the pie, that's where I saw the gravy and meat starting to look like it. See you old. What? Look like. See you old. Easy come through. Oh, I didn't quite understand that, to be honest. I think what you mean is that the gravy and the meat's starting to weep out. Oh, there. Do you mean on the side there? Look, I think that's just a splatter in the factory. It's not really come from the inside. Sheldon, I'm wanting a pie now. Sheldon messaged me yesterday. I think it was yesterday or Friday. I was on now, and that he got a pie from the Z petrol station. It was very good. And instantly, I wanted a pie. Bizarre, isn't it? Matwix, every time you cold start it, some gas passes into the oil. That's right. And we've got somebody from Russia here, and I can't read that. Skart Gord. No, it's not Skart. Skarld Gord. Gord. So sorry, can't read that. Don't know what it means. It could mean anything, actually. Daniel Bedell, got 2 dogs laying on me and watching your live stream. They are puppies. Food. Treat time. The word for Marmite is cookie. I mentioned the word cookie and she goes ballistic. She won't leave you alone until you give her a cookie. Not a human cookie, I mean a dog treat, you know. So I'm busy chomping away at this pie and I haven't even started scoring it. So taste, stroke, flavor, this is the contents. Pretty good. You really can taste the cheese. And it doesn't have that sort of processed taste to it. It tastes genuine, which is good. I'm going to give this pie, for taste, stroke, flavor, I'm going to give it an 8. I think it's pretty good. Should I give it a 9? No, I'll give it an 8. I think 8's fair. Trying to be fair. Structure Foley partners. Well, we've got a few, you know, sort of few cracks developing around the pastry, obviously due to compression as chomping into it. Underside, yeah, you can see that there, look. I know it's not a great picture, chaps. Apologies. Seems to have got slightly better. So Structure Foley partners, I think we'll hold back on that a little bit. It may get worse as we get further into it. Runnability check, pretty sure it's going to pass this, but we'll see. 45 degrees. Can you see any? Oh, I can see cheese coming out just here. Look, you see a blob of cheese just about. Whoa! Did you see that? That was close. We had almost a pie-tastrophe going on there. Look, you can see it. I'll try and replicate it. So we've got some oozing from the center. Obviously, the cheese is acting as a lubricant on there. Not good. That could have been in your lap whilst driving. Could have caused a car accident, for God's sake. Terrible. So runnability. It wasn't instant, but it was there. It took, what, 10, 15 seconds to start. I've got to score it low. I do. I'm going to have to give it 4. I think a 4. I'm really strict on runnability. If you're going to have a pie that's going to be suitable for eating in, you know, whilst in transit, so to speak, it has to be quite stable. And that bit wasn't. Okay. Meat quality. Well, that was a piece of meat. So remember, this is prime Angus. It's not your regular moo cow. It's pretty good. Quite tasty. No real gristle in there. And it's got that Angus sort of flavour to it, which is good. I'm going to give them an 8. You can't give them too much. I mean, you know, end of the day, a steak pie is always going to be better. Well, usually can be better. Pie crust ratio. Well, I'll just try and lift the lid up a bit. You can see there's a lot of cheese in there. Look, you can see the contents versus the, oh yeah, focus now. The contents versus the amount of pastry on this pie. It is quite thick around this. Oh no! Right, you've lost another point. That was terrible. We got it on camera. Damn. Okay, runnability's gone down to 3. God damn you, baker's son. So pie to crust ratio. As I was saying, and rudely interrupted by flowing cheese, we've got quite a lot of pastry around the sides of the pie. Side, it's a singular thing, isn't it? quite chunky in these corners. We've seen that before on quite a few pies. There's a lot of pastry up there. Saying that, the center, the void is full. There's no air pockets as such. I'm going to give it, base is quite thin actually. I'm going to give it a 6, I think. Pie to crust ratio 6. Availability logistics. This came from a supermarket. You can order them online, therefore. You can't get them at dairies, but supermarkets all over New Zealand. And you can't buy them they are pre-cooked, but they aren't hot when you buy them, obviously. So that's a bit of a disadvantage. You can't eat it straight away. Oh, first burp, bear that in mind. So you can get them online, you can get them in the supermarkets. I think probably 7, 6 maybe. That's the only place you can buy 6. I'm going to give it a 6 for that, because you can't get them from dairies, basically. They're not available through the dairies, I don't believe. Oh, well, see, oozing out again. Terrible. Pastry taste rating. Well, I'm going to crack off a big chunk of pastry from the side. Now that is only pastry. It's nice and crispy, but it's not really hard. And the outer was hard, was crispy, and the inner was quite gooey. No weird aftertaste. Not bad actually. Not bad. I'll give him an 8 for that. That was all right. Still tasty when cold. We'll soon find out. It's cooling down really quick. Packaging design. Well, phenomenal design of packaging. There's a lot of information on there. A really nice picture on the front. Does it really represent what we get? Well, sort of. It's a slightly different shaped pie on the front, but it's got lots of cheese in it. It's got lots of meat in it. I think it fairly, I think it fairly represents what we're getting. I'm dying now. Yeah, that's not bad. I think we'll give them, I don't know, tells how to cook it and all that kind of stuff, nutritional information. I like that. The only downside is you haven't got a window to see what you're actually buying. You've got to go by the photo. I think we give them, I don't know, 9. I think it's pretty good. Somebody spent a lot of time putting that together, so we'll give them a 9 for that. 9 for packaging. Recyclable score. Well, it's made of cardboard, so it should be recyclable. Does it say recyclable anywhere? Does it tell us it's recyclable? It'd be good if they did, because not everybody realizes cardboard can be recycled. They don't. So we'll give them a 9. We know it is, but they don't tell us. So we'll have a 9 for that one. Post pie heartburn. We've already had one burp, but only one. So again, they get a 9 for that. That may drop if things continue, which they just have. There was another burp, so that's down to 8. Good timing, burp. It's cooling down pretty quick. There's a lot of cheese in this pie. We've still got cheese coming through again. An amazing amount of cheese. Probably more cheese than I've ever come across in a pie. Stuffability score. Too soon. It's just Wheel of Death. Pie server attractiveness. Very helpful young lady at the supermarket. Obviously prepared herself very well for a shift. I'm going to give her a 9. Young lady, very nice. So I'll give her a 9 for that. Well done. Very joyous and welcoming, and very happy person. Okay. So, structure Foley partners. Just going right back to the start now. It's sort of cut pretty well. I've got a bit of collapsing on the base. I'll move my finger around here. It's all sort of breaking up. A bit of pie management being used there. So, structure Foley partners. They're not going to get a full score on this one. It's getting quite fluid as the pie. There's a bit of movement going on. It's not particularly rigid anymore. So I've got to watch where I eat. I've got to plan my attack with this now. Otherwise, that combined with the cheese, we could get a bit of an overflow of cheese and it's all going to go pear-shaped. So what does it get? I'm thinking 6 or 7. 7? 6? I think a 6. I'm envisaging it getting a bit more difficult henceforth. So we'll give them a 6 for that. I've seen worse. I've seen a lot worse, but I've seen a lot better as well. Still tastes good though. Okay, so we've only got 2 scores left to go. One is still tasty when cold, and it is cooling down very quick. So we'll have a score for that very shortly. And stuffability score. You see, the cheese is causing a bit of a problem. As it's cooling down, it's getting more strandy, you know? That's not a word, is it? But you know what I mean. And because it's a mince pie, the contents are a lot more fluid. So they're constantly oozing out. And it's the ooze that dictates where I bite next. You see, we've got a big chunk sticking out there, look. It's not ideal. You know, if you're trying to hold a conversation whilst eating this pie, you're constantly getting distracted because you've got to focus on preventing a pie catastrophe. Again, look, you see, more oozage. Okay, as it's cooling down, it is losing its appeal on taste. It's not as good as it was when it was nice and hot. Still tasty when cold. Had a lot of cheese in there. Genuine cheese, real cheese from real moo cows, not processed stuff. I think I got a bit of an onion then. Either that or plastic. Would it be tasty cold? I don't think it'd be as tasty as a Wild Bean Cafe steak and cheese cold. They're fine cold. There's no problems at all with those things. This one, definitely edible cold. I don't see a problem at all with that. Maybe even a couple of days late, you know, leaving the glove box. You could still grab that pie and trough it down just to, you know, prevent starvation. So what am I going to give it? I think a 6. Maybe a 7. Certainly there wouldn't be the cheese problem because it's all going to be hard. I'll give it a 7. I think a 7's fine. I think 7 sort of reflects it pretty well. Right, last bit going down. Still tastes pretty good. Oh, right. Stuffability score. Apologies for the wiping of the nose, but otherwise it's going to dribble over the bench. Stuffability score. Do I feel stuffed? Do I want another pie? I don't. It's done the job, certainly. Do I feel overstuffed and bloated? No, I don't. I think they're going to get like an 8. I think an 8 works pretty well. So, have we got all the scores? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We do. All the scores are in. So all we have to do now is a quick tally up. And that's where you get to help, because on these cold mornings, my arithmetic is never that good. Here we go. Turn you around. 3, 2, 1. Boom. Got to watch out for what goes on the camera today. For those that have just joined us, I'm very lazy and haven't put all the motorcycles outside in the cold. Right, just going to get you down there. Jeez. Hopefully you can see what's going on. There we are. Right. That was another burp. Where's the burp thing? That's now a 7. Sorry. But it is. I can feel there's a little bit of comeback. Okay, so 14, 17, 25, 31, 37, 45, 52, 61, 70, 77, 85, 94. Not bad. Not a bad score at all. 94 is quite respectable. So that was, just for consistency, that was the Baker's Son mince and cheese, and it's got the Angus beef in there, which you could definitely taste. It was very nice, and the cheese also very, very tasty. Although there was a lot of cheese in that pie, a hell of a lot of cheese. Now these guys have won the first position in the Supreme Pie Awards. Is it deserved? Well, I don't know really. Let's go and find out how they sit on the leaderboard. So the Baker's Son and this is the mince and cheese. Almost to be called the cheese and mince pie, to be fair. Now, what weight is it? Just for it's 200 grams, pretty standard. 200 grams. And they got 94. Okay. Now, the leaderboard is getting pretty packed out now. There's not a lot of space, but we'll see if we can fit it in there. Right. Let's grab that. Okay, here we go. Dum, 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 dum. Baker's Son mince and cheese, 94, which is quite respectable, in all honesty. I think if they were more readily available, they'd have got a better score. Okay, so I'm going to stick it there because there really isn't enough room. I'll have to tidy up. But it's on a par with Irvin's The Beast, beef, bacon and cheese. So it's competed extremely well because that one's got bacon in. That's cheating. It's got bacon in there. This is only a mince and cheese pie, and it's done as well as that one, which is pretty good. Is it the best scoring mince and cheese pie we've had to date? Let's have a look. So the leaderboard, 106, phenomenal score, is a chicken. Again, the magic ingredient, bacon, mushroom and cheese. Very high score, that. Wild Bean Cafe Gourmet Steak and Cheese, my favourite, my go-to pie. Wild Bean Cafe Classic Steak, not quite as good. Surprised that's so high, actually, because the classic steak is nowhere near as good as the steak and cheese. Baker's Son Steak and Cheese. There we are. Look, you see, 102. Very high score. Very, very good. So, but, you know, we've only dropped 8 points, and we're down to mince and cheese. You know? So, if you can get steak, get the steak and cheese. Any mince and cheese on here? Yo-yos, steak pie, steak and cheese, meat. What? Meatball and bacon. Irvin's The Beast. Okay, so there we go. It is the highest scoring mince and cheese pie we have done. So I think that's definitely deserves some recognition there. Well done, the Baker's Son. Good job. Although there could be some improvements and you'd get a much higher score. So pull your finger out, people. You should be up there somewhere. I reckon you could get to probably about 98 with a mince and cheese. I think it's doable. Okay, back to the bench. Keep the blue out. Keep the blue out, mister. There we are. Keep the bikes out of the shot. Turn you around. 3, 2, 1, boom. Right, coffee's getting cold. Fingers are getting really cold for some reason. Don't know why, but they are. It's one of those things. Hopefully the picture's not too bad. Sorry about that, people. Is that going to work? Now we're all over the place, aren't we? There we go. That's pretty level. I hate cameras that are not level. Holly, you let me down today. That's getting cold. Okay, where do we get to? Scroll back a bit. Oh, keep going back. Geez, I'm going to scroll all the way back. Here we are. Daniel Bedell. A Scooby snack. Yes. Mike Adams. I'm bouncing back and forth between listening to the stream and working on my John Deere riding mower. Too many safety switches for my taste. Nah, take them off. You don't need those. Right, time for a cigarette. Cold hand. It's all right, we'll get the heater cranked up in the truck when we go to tap up. Right. Choppers Rule 1. Good day, mate. Good day to you, sir. Choppers Rule 1. Cracking name. Scott, pie stream and diet does not mix. Pie stream and diet. You're quite right. My diet's terrible. It really is. It's only got worse since this current job. Now then, where do we get to? We're still going? We are still going. I thought we'd just lost communication then. Daniel, Mike Adams, what size of the deck you have on yours? On the lawnmower. Daniel Bedham, you lost the cheese. I knew. Yeah, it was very close. Could have been terrible. Actually, it was those super fast reactions that managed to save most of it. Mike Adams, Daniel Bedell. It's a D100 42-inch deck. Choppers Rule 1. Pie Tastra free. It was. It would have been bad if you were driving around, eating that pie. It would have gone bad. It would have gone really bad. External trouser accident. That's right. Daniel Bedell, Mike Adams. Does your tractor have the clutch on the crankshaft pulley too? Choppers Rule 1. You know the rules. If you're going to die, dig your own bloody hole. What? Mike Adams, Daniel Bedell. I've bypassed every safety switch I can find. That's what I like to hear. Change the switch, the solenoid, and the relay. But I have ignition. But starter still not engaging with the key. I can sense a separate switch coming on very shortly to crank that engine over and just get rid of the key. Yeah, so you're not using the key as the crank. Scott, do we have a new leader on the board? We do not, Scott. It didn't do that well. It did okay. Respectable score, but not brilliant. John Nuttall, Steve needs a pickup call from Holly. He does. But why is Simon Raw missing this week? Oh, and hit the like button, lads. Yes, you're right. Simon's not here, is he? Come on, Simon. What's going on? He's probably at one of his tractor engine rides or something. He likes that kind of stuff. So do I, but I never get to go anymore. Daniel Bedell. Mike Adams. Did you try to sit on the seat and press in the brake pedal while starting it with the key? That's a very good call because they often have a sensor on the seat, don't they? George Bonnie 90. Would you buy that pie again? Yes. I think I would buy that pie again. Yes, I would. It's not that bad. It really isn't. And I mean, it lost most of its scores from, let's have a little look. It lost availability, only got 6. So, that's 4 points lost because you can't buy them at dairies and stuff. Where else did it lose? Runnability 3. Yeah, there was a lot of cheese in that pie, which I don't mind cheese in the pie. It sort of almost overpowered the flavor of the meat. That was a bit of a shame. And because there was so much cheese, and when it was hot especially, it caused the pie to be quite fluid, the contents, which is not a good thing on a pie. I don't like runny pies. It doesn't work. Now, where do we get to? Mike Adams, Daniel Bedell. Yes, I've bypassed the clutch switch, the seat switch, and the reverse override switch. I can jump it to the solenoid to start, but no engagement of the key. Backtrack. Could just be a broken wire. Just backtrack. Just do a continuity step. In fact, do a load test on the wire between the starter solenoid and the ignition switch. You might find a broken wire. George Bonnie 90, you probably need an ignition switch, Mike. Possibly. More testing required. Check the wire first. Easy check. Mike Adams, weird thing is I have to have the headlights on to use reverse. If not, it quits. Well, as Ivan would say, there is a clue. That shouldn't be the case. You've got a problem. George Bonnie 90, do you have a broken wire between the switch and the relay? There you go. Daniel Bedell, try running a jumper wire from the back side of the key switch to the S terminal wire direct to command the wire on the starter itself. If it works that way, then you know what you have. That's right, a broken wire. A connection problem within that circuit somewhere. Very simple check. Mike Adams, George, not any broken wires that I've seen. I've visually looked at all of them. but I haven't seen any breaks or short. It could be a break inside the wire. We've seen that a lot. It's more and more common now as the wiring seems to become more and more lightweight and maybe poorer quality copper. I don't know. Where you get a break inside the wire and the installation looks absolutely fine. Tug test. That's what we need to do. Now then, Mike Adams, George, not anybody did that one. Daniel, if it doesn't work, then you know you have a bad key switch. Very simple checks. Thank you, Daniel. George Bunny 90, Mike, do you have a DVOM to check continuity? Digital volt. DVOM, digital volt ohm meter, maybe. I don't call them that. It's a new one. Yeah, DVOM, question mark. I think a multimeter. That's what we need to talk about. Multimeter. That's what you need. But a bulb, just a bulb and a couple of jumper wires is all you need, really. Mike Adams, I have a meter. That's what you're asking, but experienced at using one. But experienced or not experienced at using one? No, not experienced at using one. Sorry. Just use a bulb. Go and find a headlight. But take one of the headlight bulbs out. Use that reasonable load, and disconnect the wire from the ignition switch. Put it to battery positive. Disconnect it from the starter solenoid. Then connect the bulb, put it to ground. Bulb should be nice and bright. If it's not, and if you give the wires a bit of a wiggle as well, and if it flickers, then you know that you've got a continuity problem, a break potentially, or point of high resistance in the wiring. Mike Adams, you have your answer. Your headlight should only be on in all running positions. Daniel Beddle, not just in reverse. I think, didn't you say you had to put the headlights on for it to crank? Maybe I read it wrong. John Nuttall, keep the key, change the mower. You gotta laugh, that's funny. Daniel Beddle, exact, right, simple and easy checks. You can even if you use a known good headlight to test it. Exactly, you don't need a lot. Test lights and stuff are invaluable. I've lost my cigarette. It's all right, it's nearly all gone. Invaluable when it comes to testing stuff, especially out in the field where you've got limited resources. Bit of wire, bulb, away you go. Excellent stuff. So we've done the pie review. It was okay. Now, Alan owns the Bonnie, as you all well know, and it has a gearbox stroke clutch problem. And I've got to get into that. That's a whole separate job. Alan also moved house probably about 6 months ago. Well, in fact, I delivered his CB to the new house, so it would have been the start of the year that he moved. And his pillar drill, I call them, had a problem. I think they dropped it, or it fell on its side, and it broke one of the little winder handles. This one here is cast, and it broke off. And Alan says, "Oh, can you weld it up?" And I looked at it and I thought, well, to be perfectly honest, yes, I could weld it up, and yes, it would probably break again at some point in the future. So I need to make a new one. So we're going to fabricate one up on the lathe, weld it together, and away we go. He did actually go out and buy a replacement, off the shelf. But the one that he bought was pretty crap, in all honesty. It was pretty flimsy, and he doesn't like it. So he said, "Andy, can you make me a new one of these?" So I'll add it to the work list. The pillar drill's still operational, so it's not urgent. But I'd be quite like to make him a nice new handle. I made a very similar handle for Mrs. Mechanic for one of her crafty tools. I think it's for stencils. You put like a cutter thing in it, and then you roll it through, you wind it through, and it squashes it all together, and it cuts the stencil out on whatever card you want to use. I don't know, I'm not a crafty person. But I made one up on the lathe for her, and she was very, very happy. A million times better than the original one, and works very well. So I have a new handle to make for a pillar drill. I must admit, I actually have another pillar drill in the shed, which is broken. It failed for some reason years ago, and probably the handle of that would fit Alan's. They're all pretty standard. That will be the quick fix, but it's not. I want to make him something that that I've made, that whenever he uses his pillar drill, remember, Andy made me that, and he fixed all my motorbikes. What a nice chap. So yeah, I think it's only fair. I can make one. I will make one. What will I make it out of? I have no idea yet. Whatever's kicking around the workshop, basically. No expense on that one, just time. Now, where do we get to? Mike Adams, thanks for the help, everybody. No problem at all, Mike. It's what we're here for. George 190, good luck, Mike. I think Mike, he doesn't need luck. He just needs to just use logic and some simple testing, and he'll soon get there. It doesn't sound like a difficult problem. Daniel Bedell, here's a prop. Here's a prop to my mentor, Ivan of Pine Hollow Auto Diagnostics. Told Ivan I've learned a lot from him. I think we all have, to be honest. He's a very, very clever chap, is Ivan. I like his train of thought, the way that he diagnoses stuff. And he's very knowledgeable now in the automotive industry. He knows a lot of stuff. George 190, I've learned a lot from Ivan as well. Daniel, I hope I make him proud of me someday. Well, I would hope so. I think Ivan has been instrumental, together with Keith and, of course, Eric O. And Eric the car guy as well. You know, all those people have really helped raise the game and the knowledge base around the world on how to do repairs. And I'm sure there are many other very highly experienced techs out there as well that also do YouTube channels, ones which I've not viewed, but you know, there's a wealth of knowledge out there, and they only do it to help us. That's the reason. It really humbles me to see that people are prepared to spend so much time in spreading their knowledge. And it does take a lot of time to make videos and to edit them up. It really does. Talking of Ivan, I was in contact with Ivan earlier in the week. I think it was on Friday stroke yesterday. I have ordered one of his pressure transducers, the 265 PSI one, which is now winging its way to sunny stroke cold New Zealand. When it gets here, we'll be using it in the workshop, doing stuff, and I'll also be using it during my, for my work as well, my day job. And I want to get more into mechanical diagnostics using the scope, which is almost unheard of. It's only a recent thing that's really, started to take hold. You can check for worn cam chains, you can check for leaky valves and all that kind of stuff. Amongst many other things, you can even head gaskets, doing a pressure test on the coolant system, and then use a pickup off one of the ignition coils so you know which cylinder it is. You can work out which cylinder it is that's actually leaking into the coolant system. Very clever stuff, and very quick and non-intrusive. Don't even need a spanner. It's a really good way of doing diagnostics. I like it, and it's an area that I really want to get involved with and to hone my skills in that. So thank you to Ivan. Another shout out for a very clever gentleman within the automotive industry that spends a lot of time making videos and has a great YouTube channel. Very, very impressed. Now then, where do we get to? Oh, here we go. Mike Adams, as I've said about electronics, hours are sometimes days to find the issue, but only 5 minutes to repair. Story of my life. Yeah, sometimes they can be really hard to find. Like you say, just a broken wire, quick fix. Chopper's Rule 1, I think I have an internet problem. My end, I'm not getting all the chat. That's weird. Can't help you with that. John, good lad, no ciggy today. Your heart loves you. No, I've had a few cigarettes. Sorry, let you down, but I have had some cigarettes. Didn't get one out now though. Daniel, funny thing is that one of his videos, I had responded to it via saying something like, I wish I could get some help from you on my 1992 Chevy Silverado 5.7 litre. Can't get it to start. George 190, pressure transducer can be invaluable. I think so. Choppers Rule 1, it's all good. Hey, no worries, chaps. Right. I'm just waiting for Daniel to it looks like you've made a comment there, Daniel, but there's more to the story. So did Ivan come back to you and give you some assistance? That's the question I'm putting forward. I receive emails every single day and comments through the YouTube channel as well, asking for assistance on problems. I can't help with all of them. Some of them I don't have the knowledge base to help. Others, I just don't have the time, to be honest. I spend a lot of my time on an evening answering them, or if I'm waiting at a petrol station to pay for fuel, I'll even answer them then while I'm in the queue. But there are limits, Choppers were one. I'm off, mate. Have a good stream. Choppers were one. Great segue. We are done. This is the end of the live stream. I think we've covered everything. It's bloody cold. I need to get packed up and get into Townport to get some supplies. Daniel, here we go. He quickly responded and gave me his email address and his phone number. He told me that he was on his way to see Keith in Staten Island. Keith's a great guy too. Scott, cheers, Andy. No worries, crew. Daniel, here we go. Look, Daniel again. Then he would do a detour to help me out. What a nice chap, you see. And also keen. I think Ivan's as keen as I am to actually find out what the problem is and to learn from it as well. And that's one of the reasons why I do this kind of stuff, because I've never worked on a body before, and I'd like to find out what the problem is and fix it and give it back fixed, and everybody's happy, Daniel, you got my truck running in 5 minutes. That's Ivan for you. Clever chat. Any parts required? Probably not. George Bonnie 90. See you next week, guys. Cheers, George. See you around. Okay, crew. Thank you all very much for joining me on this live stream. Sorry about the IT problems earlier in the morning. Thank you again for all your support. It is very, very much appreciated. And I will see you again next Sunday, 8:30 a.m. See you around. Cheers. Over and out.